Assassination Nation.
I'm out.
Bienvenidos, Fright fans, and welcome to the horror show. I am Jaime Fuego.
I'm Cecil Laird.
And we are doing a review of, well, it was a film that some celebrated and some hated. It's Assassination Nation, that's right. And, it's a film that, at least for my estimation, had the intention of a lot to say and failed miserably. What's your thoughts?
I thought it was extraordinarily over-political and over-preachy.
Heavy-handed, indeed.
Not nearly as fun as the trailer made it out to be. And
it showed up on some best of the year lists of people I respect, which is what's so crazy about it.
I don't understand. I thought it was so heavy-handed, so unsatisfying, and so uninteresting for what it was trying to be.
Yeah.
Like we always start with our overall thoughts, and my overall thoughts are just this movie was garbage. I thought it was such a waste of time. I thought it was. Fuego said preachy. I said it was too political.
Yeah.
I think preachy is probably a little bit closer to the truth, but they do have a lot of politicized topics in the movie, and the characters weren't interesting. The action wasn't worth it. The symbolism that they were trying to pull off was so ham-fisted. I just did not like this movie.
Yeah, they are so overt about the fact that they're trying to make commentary about American culture, about internet culture, about all of these different things, about everything from trans culture to they really just hit all of your stereotypical bases, and yet didn't really give the proper respect, in my estimation, to even the stuff they were championing, and I have a lot of friends who are in those various sectors and stuff like that, and so it was just like, okay, it's trying to be violent, it's trying to be controversial, it's trying to hate on the fact that the government purports these things and then just tries to hide so much. I did not like this movie either. Dude, did it infuriate the shizzle out of me.
It made me so angry.
It actually just, at the end of the day, I was getting madder and madder as I watched this movie.
I was too.
And I don't want to feel like
un-PC or
whatever.
Not forward thinking. No, it was just so preachy, so heavy-handed with, you should be feeling this way, and look, it's a war in our own society and no one's fighting it, and we got to talk about the story first of all, because the story was so frustrating, and I was like, yeah, you're dumb. Why did you think this wasn't going to happen to you in this day and age?
Yeah, and there's a lot of just like, let your, common thoughts just
I'm going to get the anger horn going.
Do it.
Anger horn.
Honestly, do it, dude, because of the fact that there is an aspect of disbelief that has to be implemented
there's
here.
There's a bit of an anger horn there.
Do that anger horn. Do that anger horn.
You can barely see the anger horn when you look in the camera angle.
Yeah.
A little anger horn, see?
Yeah, problem here is the fact that they assume that this little Salem town is completely isolated and has no tie-in with the rest of the world, which is one of the biggest misconceptions because of the fact that if some of the shit that is going down in this city eventually...
Dude, the Salem thing was just an analog. Like, it was just... not analog. It was an analogy.
No.
It was... They say it's Salem because it's meant to be modern-day witch trials.
Massachusetts. It was supposed to be...
modern-day witch trials.
Oh, I know
because
that.
Because it's just... girls getting doxxed. It's people's cell phones being invaded and privacy and things they're trying to keep private.
It is a witch hunt. Yeah, so there's lots. That's why
so heavy-handed. I don't care.
Excuse me. That's why we're talking about this film here on the horror show, though, is because of the fact that it's very heavy-handed.
The whole movie is a horror show.
In the horror comparisons and in where the inspiration is drawn, it doesn't mean
every way it falls flat.
Yeah. Totally. It really does. And that's not to say that it's not beautifully shot. That's not to say that even the girls don't give good performances.
I don't think they did.
Really? Because I feel
maybe
like
one or two, maybe, but they were
I
also...
feel like the one...
Bex, though, the trans person was so annoying to watch to me. It's like so heavy-handed, and it's like we don't need to do this. Like,
you have to tread
you're not that different. I know. No, what I'm saying is, like, literally, they're not that different, but they're made out to be so vilified and made out to be. And look, I get it. I don't have their experience, and yes, maybe they are more vilified than I think they are, but
and that character,
it's so heavy on the every person is like this against these kinds of people, and I just disagree.
Well, and that's
maybe I'm just too faithful in peace.
Well, no, not necessarily, because of the fact that I think about the Chasing Amy aesthetic, where the gay black character is like, I am a subsect of a subsect, and I'm a subculture of a subculture, blah, 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 and there ain't nobody, trying to help my ass out. And that character that you were talking about, the
Bex.
trans Bex character, is very hateful of the outing of this mayor who is apparently closet gay, and... the reason we're talking about this on the horror show is the fact that extreme measures come with everything associated with the just outing of all of these personal people and stuff like that, and the fact that it gets really gross and really nasty really quickly. The principal gets fired, the mayor, all these different people. It's just like the list goes on and on and on, and the nastiness continues. It just felt very much like, what I read lately, which was Loaded by Joe Hill, which was very insanely preachy with its personal politics. This film felt very, very much in that vein.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It had some very personal wars it was fighting.
Yeah, and it's one thing to be allegorical, and it's one thing to really be reflective, but it's another thing to be heavy-handed and to be preachy, as I said earlier. And, there is a balance that we can form, and certain movies get too overt with it, and certain books and various other, just examples of creativity and just... I don't know, personal commentary. So, There you go.
So, the story itself, since that was taking overall thoughts.
The story
Go ahead, Fuego. What's the story? Just the long
and
short
itself
of it.
Is, so there is a trans girl, there is three friends of hers, and they, have their clique going on. And, honestly, the story doesn't really start rearing until a couple of them hook up at a party, and that's where things really, really just travel into the stratosphere. But more so than anything else, somebody who was doing some nefarious things, and that's where I'm trying not to spoil stuff here, their personal biz is let out to the World Wide Web, and it becomes a thing. It's like where, the initial person of prominence and prosperity and power being the biggest thing that has their personal business leaked out, somebody else, and somebody else, and somebody else, and
the whole world starts to get scared of their stuff getting outed by cell phone hacks and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's why I don't send dick pics, I've never been of that persuasion.
I mean, I send them, but it's so small that people think it's like a thumbtack in a bird's nest. So
small.
It's nothing to worry about.
So small. American penis, so small. And one of the quotes South Park. Because Danny Nightmare just kept quoting South Park all night. I was just loving his approach. But no, that's the thing, man. It's like this is a film that is talking about social media culture. This is a film that is really trying desperately to have a bold statement about how addicted and just how reverential and all these other things, and it didn't hit with its aspirations, man. At least in my estimation, it did not make people who are enamored in social media like us really feel too terribly. It just, I don't know, it made me feel more so like the people who abuse it are terrible fucks, and so on. Sorry, drop the F-bomb.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
So, I didn't get on board with the story from the beginning. I thought I was like, oh no, this is what we're going to be doing? And one of them has a terrible secret that is embarrassing for the whole family, and yet the mom is super understanding about it, and it's like, ugh. But I did not like the movie. I thought it was boring. I thought the characters were annoying. I thought it was super preachy. I don't know. Is there anything else? I mean, I didn't like the acting. You said the acting was okay.
I didn't think the girls were that bad, and Joel McHale, despite being a sleazy he was exactly what I thought he was going to be.
This would have been on my worst of the list if it had been more horror.
No shizzle.
Worst of the year, for sure.
It was just, as I said earlier, and I'm not sure I properly purported this, but I watched BlacKkKlansman and I watched this at about the same time, and both were agenda of, just like deep-rooted and, massiveness, and whereas this one was stupid and felt very much like it had this feeling of self-importance. It felt like it had this deep agenda to put forward, and it failed miserably. Mm-hmm. I thought Spike Lee's movie was fantastic, and really, especially for the fact that they tackled a different era and so on. That's a great movie. This one is terrible. This is really a disappointing and aggravating movie, and it's a film that felt like its shit didn't stink, almost. Like it
thought it didn't.
Yeah, it had this grandiose message to put forth, and it failed miserably at getting it across. And so, I don't know. That's really about the extent that I have to say about it. It was an aggravating movie because of the fact that it had a decent cast, and they obviously spent money. I mean, dude, in the back credits where the full marching band comes on and everything,
what the fuck was that?
Why was that there? Why?
Oh, that was so self-indulgent.
They were just doubling down the fact that this was
That to me was just a marching middle finger down the street.
In some ways. Yeah. It was. And it gets violent where it needs to. We are covering this on the horror show because of the fact that it gets violent. Like, we have characters, as this whole social media witch hunt entails, people start killing each other.
Hang on, wait, in case you guys didn't see that.
But it stoops, though, and the fact that there was that one girl who was like, yeah, everybody, just respects my Instagram and blah, blah, and then the other girl goes and kills her, and then she gets arrested, and it's, I don't know, it's very deliberately a commentary that falls flat, massively, in my opinion. It's like they think they're smarter than they actually are, which is really where this film falls, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Anything else you want to share about the movie?
No,
I have literally nothing else to say about it.
This film was retarded and just aggravating the hell out of me.
Careful. Special needs.
Okay.
This film was special needs.
It was aggravating, and I mean, even in the end, in the back half, because of the fact that I love so much period Japanese cinema and Asian cinema, because remember, I don't want to.
Careful.
I don't want to say
might be Korean.
It actually might.
We still got a bad
might be Chinese. I'm not sure.
As much preparation as we did for that reaction, we still got a shitty comment.
Okay,
do more research.
Well, at the end of this, the Asian filmmaking approach, they were all with the katanas. They were all with the red coats and everything. I mean, they tried their damnedest to keep that continuity, which I appreciate, but.
Sorry, I'm making my eyebrows dance.
No, you're fine. We tried to give reverence and respect.
No, I didn't.
This
movie sucked.
I didn't. No, this movie was.
I don't care.
It was frustrating because of the fact that it was.
And this is the end of a long production day when I've had a lot of shots, so this movie is not.
No, it's fine. Susie earlier, where she was just like, we've been drinking all day, and we're just like, okay,
yeah, I was like, Susie. I'm fine right now. Relax.
Yeah, both you and I were just like, well,
we're cool.
We're fine. Yeah. What's wrong with you? Anyway.
What
is wrong with this movie? If you watch it, you will figure out a ginormous portion of what is wrong with this movie, despite the fact that it was done in the major studio system. This was not an indie film.
No.
It was done. There was money.
It did come out in the theater, believe it or not.
It did. There was money behind it. Mm-hmm. If you're going to have somebody like Joel McHale, if you're going to have somebody like, the rest of some of the unimportant people who I'm not going to Anyway.
Fair enough.
No, but all the girls just kind of aggravated me, and one was called Lily. That really...
Oh. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for watching this episode of The Horror Show, our review of Assassination Nation, which was not worth your time at all.
Do not watch it. Avoid it at all costs.
Indeed. So thank you guys very much for watching. We greatly appreciate you taking the time to do so, especially if you've made it this far into the video. If you have, why not drop a like down below because of all the fun stuff that we did, because I already know a few editing things that I'm going to jump and throw in there. But especially when my eyes roll, I'm gonna add a slide whistle for sure.
Wow!
It's gonna be really fun.
Nice.
But thank you guys very much for watching. I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias, I've been Jaime.
And remember, stay scared, but not of this POS.